And we lost Justin. There you go.
Hey. The Comic Book Communicast, the official podcast of the Google Plus Comic Book Community. This is issue number 8 for the week of. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine. But you're breaking up before, so everybody.
All right, so it looks like we're gonna have a.
Yeah, Justin is coming to us through his phone in order to be with us because his internet is being screwy. So he's using his phone and his data plan. That's how much he loves this community.
All right, you can sort of hear me. Let's get right into it. Get into the pick of the week where each of us chooses our favorite comic, and then we'll briefly pull this week. So, Paul, what was your pick?
My pick this week was the actual only book in my pull box this week is Bunker number 12 by Joshua Hale Fialkov and Joe Infernani. I've talked about this book several times in the past. Justin and I, we both started on it back when it was like a completely indie publishing, like before Oni picked it up. And I gotta say, as I was reading this issue, I realized like I have completely lost the plot. I'm like there's so many kind of weird intersections and things going like this that I need a diagram. I need to go back and read everything over, so I have it all at once, because this waiting a month in between I think is killing me. So this issue was. It was mostly it was weird. It's not a silent issue, but there's a lot of long silent parts where it's just the just frames, and it's one of our guys is in prison for a terrorist act where he was set up and he was caught in the act, and he knows that his friend Grady was a part of it, but he's keeping that to himself. But now he's demanding to speak to Grady. So we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, I honestly can't remember all the plot points going on with this right now. So I'm going to need to go back and reread all 12 issues to see if I can figure out where the heck we are, which I don't think really speaks well to the book. If if it's somebody who's been reading it this whole time doesn't know where they're supposed to be. So Revival does a good job where this basically has a very short recap of the major points up to that issue at the beginning of each issue. And so maybe that's what these guys need to do. And I need to let my dog in before she loses her mind.
Yeah, that's actually why I ended up dropping off, and I kind of said I would go start picking up the trades when they came out, but then I never did. So depending on what you say, read it all, maybe I'll hop back on and see how the rest of it plays out.
Yeah.
All right, so the week this week is Star Wars Darth Vader number 7. This book, it's by Kieran Gillen and Salvador LaRocca. And this continues to be basically the highlight of all the Star Wars books. So this kind of follows Vader on his personal missions. So it starts out with him kind of like in Star Wars book. Luke had just been on Tatooine investigating something, and he got fed and knocked out and taken away. And so this kind of follows Vader following Luke's foot, because the book has been found out about, the pilot are. So it's kind of cool. He's like walking through the building and, using his force senses to be like, oh, this happened. he's with Doctor name is the new character book. He acts his own. There, like his own separate supplies outside of the Empire, that the Emperor doesn't find out about it. And so he kind of busts in on this Rhodian that's doing a deal and just tears them all up. I mean, this comic is basically just a bunch of Darth Vader being and Darth. So after all, you cross to another area. IG-88 in Boston, they're kind of like bounty hunters that loved from the original trilogy, and like their action figures were popular and everything. And I think they have, they're just one of those minor fans, and they're going to meet with somebody, and they find out because they hear that and they're going to try and hijack it, and you find out that it's who's selling them out and is going to try and double cross them and intercept this big old shipment that Vader had just created. So it's, the artwork also the best out of all the books. Yeah, I know the Star Wars books, but if you haven't and you love dip your feet in, books to do it. The best book, and it's great.
Cool. So, and the interesting thing with all these books that we have to keep in mind is that they are official canon now. So all of the stuff that we're reading about is officially canon for Star Wars. So have you?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, yeah, and they're doing some kind of funny stuff with that. Like the main Star Wars book, Han Solo's wife.
Yeah, I read about that. That was an interesting way to go. And then there's all the stuff lead.
Line, so they're at. I want to say, yay lag. I was gonna say that in this one they do a little thing like, oh, let's drop a molecular something bomb that erases all trace of us being here, so that it doesn't conflict with
There we go. And
okay.
we're back. So what I was going to say was, I think that no, I was going to ask if you've been reading the Star Wars comics that are leading up to the new movie, because that's supposed to give us an idea of.
Well, they haven't released. Yeah, those start in September, I believe. I'll definitely be reading those. I'm reading comics.
So they're basically, Marvel is turning Star Wars into basically its own universe with all of these different books and whatnot spilling out of it. Oh, did we lose you? There you are. Okay, so that was Star Wars Darth Vader #7, and now is the part where we talk about the rest of the books in our pull box, of which I don't have any. This was the only book in my pull box. I think that's what I get for dropping DC, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. So, Justin, what about you? What else is in your pull box?
All right. First off, can you hear me right
Yep, I hear you just
now?
fine.
Oh, okay, cool. The rest of my books, I picked up Eight House Arclight #1. This is a new book from Brandon. Their second cycle #8. Arcadia #3. Giant Cycle. This is kind of the new step for Hal Jordan, and I'm a big fan of what they're doing with it. Wars #4. Awesome. Spire #1. This is kind of a see thing from Cy Spurrier and World, but it's was real hard. Jumped around, and it didn't really like come together until the end. And it's written by Brian Bendis, and it's just kind of a wreck. It doesn't make much sense. It's pretty confusing. But I'm gonna stick it out because I want to see how it be. Oh, and then we picked up this one. This is a new one by and that worked on the Attacks America, and then America. They get back at them, and then and it follows that are still fighting like they're interesting so far. There's a lot of fun they're doing. That's all I'm curious to see.
And that's it.
Paul?
I got it.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that was our picks. You can we have a weekly discussion post in the community at #CBC Pullbox. Post the you come in there, post the books that you picked up, talk about the map you read, and what other people are picking up. So now it's time for our issue of the week, and that's where we pick a new story, or something. We talk about it. Paul, what was your issue?
My issue this week was the rumor that Ben Affleck may be directing the standalone Batman movie. And I got to say that I really hope that's true because Ben Affleck knows how to direct. He's a really good director. Say what you want about Daredevil, about his acting, in superhero movies, but he's proven himself to be a very capable actor, actor too, but director a few times over now. So I think it'll be really interesting to see his take on Batman. And we lost Justin. So while we wait to see if Justin makes it back, what else? What other issues do we have? Oh, there's Justin. Welcome back.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay, cool.
So what's your issue this week?
Were you done talking about? All right, my issue. Oh, I was saying I would Affleck directed Batman film as well. We haven't
Yeah.
really seen him do like straight action elements in some of his other films. So I'll be curious to see how he handles it. My issue is the all new, all different Marvel. So Marvel announced their post Secret War lineup, and there's a lot of interesting things. Some of the stuff that I'm definitely interested. Invincible Iron Man by Brian Michael Bendis. All new, all different Avengers by Mark Wade, which has like Miles Morales, Ms. Marvel, Iron Man. I forget who else, but it's kind of a fun lineup, and they did that for the Free Comic Book Day issue, and that issue was really good. I've never been a huge Doctor Strange fan, but Jason Aaron's going to be writing it, and at this point, he first issue line by Mighty Thor, which is going to be Jason Aaron's continued story, and real great. And the cover to the number one issue is pretty striking. It shows kind of because at the end of the last arc, it was revealed that Jane Foster is the new Thor, and that she's still dying from cancer, and Thor is making it even worse. So the cover is kind of like Thor and then half. Jane Foster. So um, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and this is going to be the main Spider-Man book in the Marvel Universe. So that's pretty cool. Meanwhile, Peter Parker, I guess, is doing the Batman 8 thing, and he's going international. So that's kind of outside of the main storyline now. But that's cool that they're making Miles Morales the character. Daredevil, Devil's going to be writing it now, so I'm curious to see what he does. Karnak, which is an Inhuman. He sees like weaknesses and things, but this is going to be written by Warren Ellis, at least for the first arc. So if it's anything like his, that's going to be even if he only stays on for one arc, which is we have some Jeff Lemire books, which I may also Old Man. So you have the DC Green Arrow team that mostly praised, and now they're going to be doing Old Man. Logan, so I'm looking forward to that, and I think that's about it. I know you're not a huge Marvel fan, but have you seen any of this, or has that you?
Yeah, no, I've seen like the discussions about it and all that, but there hasn't been anything that's really caught my eye. So yeah, I would have gone. I'm waiting to see what they do with the mutants in general and X Men in particular. There's supposed to be this whole thing coming up where like mutants are reacting differently to the Terrigen mists and whatnot, which just all seems to go back to the conspiracy theory that Disney and Marvel are trying to play down any of the properties that they can't make movies out of.
So the Extraordinary X-Men cover, it's all of them, and then they're surrounded by Terrigen Mist. So there's definitely something with that. But then you have a book like Uncanny Inhumans, which is like some Avengers, I think like Johnny Storm, and then some X-Men too. I forget which ones, but I mean, there's definitely something that has either happened or is going to happen because the other books are doing an 8-month time jump. So I'll be curious to see what they do. I hope send all the X-Men to think that's going to happen because they're real blended in with a lot of these books still. So they're interacting with the other types of superhumans in the Marvel universe. So our for the rest of the news, I mean, there's quite a bit that came out. We missed last week, so there's some more, but and that is that Grant Morrison is going to do a Santa Claus Claus Year One type of book. The cover is like Santa Claus, like all through some woods or something like that. Any interest in the grim and gritty Santa Claus origin story?
Oh yeah, no, I read the article about it. And I saw like the artwork that they had for it, and it looks awesome. I'll absolutely pick that up. Absolutely.
Like I want to see what Morrison does. Because he works best with like when he uses like an existing property and mines all the weird and like to like make something reverent and new and fun. And he did it with X-Men. And I mean, he did it with comic books in general with the multiversity. So it's going to be really on, like a traditional element to that. Next item, still can't say his name, but Cedric has left Rat Queen's artist duties officially. Looks like he had some health issues and it was causing delays. And he has that. I think that was a third ongoing book because he had that and also his own book, Death Vigil, all of which are experiencing delays. And so he decided to step down from Rat Queens, which he also went exclusive to Top Cow, which is the Aphrodite Cyber Force stuff and Death Vigil. But his replacement is Tess Fowler and Tamara Bonvillain, who I think is the team that did that one shot, which was really good. So it's a bummer that Cedric is leaving because I know both Paul and his artwork, but it's cool that we're going to get Rat Queens on a regular schedule now, which is the option.
Yeah, it always sucks when your favorite book is not coming out regularly like it's supposed to. That drives me nuts. And then especially if you're collecting with a lot of stuff, then it's like you know you don't remember where you left off. You don't remember if the book was still coming out. there's a couple of books like I found out. I can't remember what it was called, but like it was so delayed for a while that I completely forgot about it. And apparently it's came back out, and I missed a bunch of issues, so I have to download and read all those. So it's good. He did the right thing by the fans by going ahead and admitting, you know, that he's not going to be able to produce on time and just stepping down and letting somebody else come in and take the reins.
But we had the Image Expo, and that was a lot of stuff. Um, did you read up on any of the coverage? And if so, like what did I?
I read the article that had like all the new books in it, and there were a couple of the sci-fi ones. I can't remember the names off the top of my head now, but there's a couple of the sci-fi ones that looked interesting. And then there's one called like Codename Babushka or something like that, and it sounds like um, Velvet, but just with a Russian instead. And I thought it was interesting that they're trying to make it out like because again they're going with the whole James Bond angle, like what if the Bond girl was actually the hero? And I'm like, you guys understand that it's already been done and is being done really, really well. So like, if you really want to step up to that plate, I hope you're ready. I'll check it out. But man, in comparison to Velvet, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult. So good luck to them. But yeah, that was about it. That one. And like I said, there's two sci-fi ones that jumped out at me, so that I might pick up.
For me, there's a book called God Damned, and that is the team of Jason Aaron and R.M. Guerra who did Scalped, which I didn't read, but everybody says is awesome. And they're going to be doing Bible stories. I'm always like, I'm so sucker for Bell's Bible included. Definitely be looking forward to that. Not so much that I'm interested in the book, but kind of what it means for other stuff, and that's Huck, and that's done by Mark Miller and Raphael Albuquerque. And Albuquerque is the artist on American Vampire, and that book has been like delayed a lot recently in this second half. Um, I guess between Snyder and also Albuquerque because he was doing his own book 8. So I'm hoping that that does affect American Vampire any more. I mean, I'll probably check it out just because I can mark. And then and the other is Private Eye. So Private Eye is finally going to come to print in a hardcover, I guess. From and I guess Brian K. Vaughan's terms for that was that he got dead. So they're going to do a Walking Dead one shot that they're going to put out digital only on Panel Syndicate, Brian K. Vaughan's website, as a pay what you want title, which is pretty crazy because has there's been one writer and I mean mostly one artist. I think there might have been fill-ins for the one shots or whatever, but nobody else has ever written a Walking Dead big. So I'll be looking forward to both of those things. I want to see what Private Eye looks like in print because I mean it was the artwork on there is beautiful, and it was kind of a bummer that you couldn't get a physical.
If it doesn't come out in Comixology, I'm not messing with it. So for the occasional web comic.
Did you not read Private Eye at all?
No. I read Pirate Eye, which was really good.
No, you go get Private Eye. I mean, you can download it. They give you PDFs or CBR files, so you can just or you can download one of the personal comic viewers that they have on the App Store or whatever. It's really good and it's definitely worth it. And you can pay for it or you can just download it. That's the great part about it.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
It's really good, and it's finally all out, so you don't have to worry about delays and not knowing where the story is or whatever. I definitely recommend picking it up. This one's going to be kind of funny, but there was a leak, and we find out another Marvel character showing up in Ant-Man.
Yeah, this was the international trailer. The trailer itself is in Spanish. I don't know if it's for Spain or for South America or both. But yeah, so we're not going to spoil this for you. But another character from the MCU, somebody who is already there. It's not an introduction. It's a character that we've already seen in other movies. But was unannounced. We didn't know that this person was going to be in the Ant-Man movie. Appears for a second in this international trailer. So it is definitely a spoiler, and we're not going to ruin it for you. But if you want to be spoiled, then by all means, check out the post in the comic book community.
Or it's in the show notes.
Yep, or the show notes.
Yeah, to me, like the cameo doesn't make any sense to me, but I'll be curious to see what they do it. And then I've been reading the post credit scene is supposed to be pretty exciting. So it's kind of funny with this movie that is pretty separated from the Marvel universe as a whole. But this Ant-Man's going to be in Civil War, and then like the post credit scene is supposed to be exciting. I don't think you'll decide to do. Really curious to see how they're like. Our last thing, Paul kind of right under the gun. Paul, you want to talk about it? The Zack Snyder has defended himself, Man of Steel.
Yeah. So he's saying that, like, yes, there's all this destruction, but that's going to play into this new movie where a lot of people are against Superman because of all of the destruction that was rained upon Metropolis. And apparently that's part of what gets Bruce Wayne involved, was because one of the buildings that was destroyed was a Wayne Tech building. And so he personally knew, a bunch of the people who worked in that building. So he is understandably antagonistic towards Superman. And the destruction of Metropolis has made a lot of people wary of him rather than immediately embracing him as this as a messiah or something, or just generally as a good guy. So that was the point of the destruction, so that he could set up the fallout that we see in this movie. But I think part of the reason for all the destruction was simply because the last few Superman movies have been like really, really weak with the fighting and whatnot. And people are like, we have this amazing special effects ability now. Why are we not seeing this guy? Why are we not seeing like amazing spectacles? And like the last movie, he was basically fighting a giant rock. It's like always him versus Lex Luthor, and like people wanted to see him get into a straight up punch up. They wanted to see him, fighting somebody who was as strong or stronger than him, and this is what we got.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't think he can. He can still movie as a whole just didn't land at all. And I'm goes of Batman Superman's coming out, and he wants to make sure people still come to. For unless Paul, you have anything else to add that we didn't catch?
No, that was it for me.
Cool. So we'll do the CBC Just for Fun posts. These are the daily Joe Sokolowski posts. My favorite from this past week was who are your favorite children in comics? So Paul.
Yeah, my favorite kids in comics are the New Mutants, the original team. I was a huge fan of that book. Followed it all the way from the graphic novel up to when they converted over to X-Force, and I really enjoyed particularly the New Mutant ones. When they got over to X-Force, things got a little out of hand, especially now that I look back in retrospect. But the original books were very endearing, and it was different from the adult, the X-Men titles. There wasn't the same kind of drama. They were a lot quieter, a lot smaller, and just more intimate stories, and I really enjoyed that. And then besides them, of course, being the huge Bat fan that I am, I have to say like all the Robins were my favorite kids as well.
Cool. Has to be right now is the Ninja Turtles, and it's kind of the radar, but they're almost to 50 issues, and it has been a solid book every issue, and including the Turtles. Probably second choice would be Damian, as Grant Morrison wrote him. So yeah, that's mine. So to wrap up, we are more to wrap up the show. We like to talk about the other stuff we've been doing, comics, talk about other stuff we've been consuming over the last week. So Paul, is there something that you took in last week that you want to share?
Yeah, I went to go see Terminator Genesis.
Oh.
Yeah. This says real 3D, but that real D 3D, but I actually went to go see it in IMAX 3D. Overall, like the action was good. Overall, the movie itself was generally good, but I can't forgive them for neutering Sarah Connor. The Sarah Connor in Terminator 2 was a self-reliant, certified badass, and in this movie, they've turned her once again into basically a trophy being fought over between the Terminator and Kyle Reese, and to a lesser extent, John Connor. And there's even a line. Well, I'm not going to get into that, but yeah. So she's not. She's completely lost her agency, and now once again it's about protecting Sarah Connor. It's like Sarah Connor at the end of Terminator 2 didn't need anybody's protection. They basically, and I think James Cameron even said it, but they basically made her into like a Terminator herself. She was just a certified badass, and she's not in this movie. She's absolutely not. She's a damsel in distress. Like she carries her guns and she speaks authoritatively and she shoots stuff, but really the whole plot is keeping her safe. And I think what it should have been was Kyle Reese coming back, and they kind of hinted at this, but they didn't really go in that direction. Would be like Kyle Reese comes back and realizes that he's a fifth wheel. His whole job is null and void now because she does not need protection. She can take care of herself. So now instead of him, leading her and helping her, survive and whatnot, he's basically following her around. And she's the one, leading the action. That's the way it should have been, but that's not the way that they did it because Hollywood writers are stupid, apparently. But yeah.
Yeah, I kind of resolved myself to skipping that one TV or something. It was just much for me to go.
The action was solid. The action was solid. The effects were solid. The movie was solid. But what they did with Sarah Connor was just such a shame.
Gotcha. So this week for me, I caught up on, which is a show on, I think it's NBC, but it's basically like a big Twilight Zone episode. And they finally revealed like what's going on with this creepy escape, and not what I was expecting. And I'll be interested to. There's 3 episodes left, I think, and I'll be curious to see it wrap it up. It's a really good kind of suspense mystery show, and yeah, I'd recommend giving it a watch. Have you watched it at all?
You cut out for a second there. We're talking about Wayward Pines.
Sorry, what did you say?
No, you cut out for a second there. So, like, what show are we talking about? Are we talking about Wayward Pines?
Yeah, Wayward Pines.
Yeah. So, I'm watching it. The wife and I are watching it. It's okay. There's a few things. Once again, now these are based on a trilogy of books. Right now, they're covering the first book, and I mean, overall, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong, but again, like I'm looking at this and realizing how I would go a different way. But one thing that I did that they did catch me on though is because like I went to like not Amazon but like Wikipedia and just like read the synopsis of the book so I knew what was coming. And one of the things I said before that though, and before the big revelation episode or this last episode was, why don't they just tell people the truth? If they just told people the truth, they would, fall in line and that would be the end of it. But apparently they tried that and it didn't go very well. So good on you guys. Good on you, book writer, for, seeing that coming and heading that off. So well done with that. But, it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's certainly not terrible either. So it's worth watching.
Yeah, I've been watching it with Angie and my well, actually now my fiance, which by the way.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, I was gonna say that for the end of the show and say congratulations, but yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, which is why I wasn't here last week. But yeah, so we're watching it, And I was saying that same exact. Why the hell don't they just tell everybody? And they
Yep.
kind of tried to address it with that last episode. They won't understand, they'll kill themselves, and they showed Kate who just didn't believe. I don't know if I buy it yet, but I guess we'll see.
The other thing they kind of do, like, is why did they even bother with like these other adults? Because we find out that there's like all the volunteers that are running stuff behind the scenes, and so why didn't they just take the kids, right? Just thaw out the kids, have the volunteer people adopt them because they're already on board, and there you go. But I mean, then there wouldn't be, plot, I guess. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. It's almost done. It's almost over.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that about does it for us. You can find those on comicbookcommunicast.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/comicbookcommunicast. Our audio version is on iTunes and RSS. You can subscribe and rate us there as well. Live, we usually record about 8 p.m. Eastern. So join us right here next week. Thank you, and have a good night.
Have a good night, and hopefully Justin's Justin's internet will be working correctly, and he won't have to use his phone. And also, I'm breaking in a new mic tonight, so hopefully I'll sound better. My audio will sound better from here on out. So yeah, everybody have a great night. I hope you had a good 4th of July if you're an American. Well, I mean, good 4th of July no matter where you're from, but good Independence Day for my fellow Americans out there. And we'll see you next week.